What's going on, guys? Welcome to the PokemonRadar podcast. Today we have our eighth episode, I believe. I think I've been counting right. Today we have a very special guest, one of the bigger up-and-coming YouTubers, and um, he's been posting some of the most exciting pack openings that I've seen in a long time. I'm very happy to have him here today. We have LootBoxTV. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
All
How are
right.
you doing?
Real
How you
good.
doing?
Real good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's a Friday night. I'm here. Couldn't be happier.
Fantastic. Well, man, let's just dive right into it. I've got your Instagram thrown up on my screen here, and I might play a little one of your YouTube's videos in the background if you don't mind. But
Yeah.
obviously, follow this guy on Instagram. Follow this guy on YouTube. I know we just have one half of Lootbox today, the
Yeah.
Juice. Of course, your partner Andrew is I'm sure busy, but and off in
Yeah.
another state. But that's all
Yeah.
right.
He gets to go have fun. That dude works. He's a good friend of mine. Big part of the channel. And yeah, man. He's a cool dude.
Good, good. Well, I've been doing this Meet the Collector series, so I want to try to get to know you a little better and understand your story of Pokemon and what got you into it. So let's take it back to 1999. Um,
Love
ba-
it.
Base set came out. Where were you? What do you remember?
I was actually living in Phoenix, Arizona, and it was funny. I don't know anybody else out there. Maybe somebody probably does the same thing, but I used to go to 7-Eleven on the corner, and I used to go get me a Dr. Pepper and like a Slim Jim and go back and play like Tony Hawk on the PlayStation 1
Nice.
and a couple other things, right? And then one day they had a Pokemon pack, and my mom would give me like $5. So I go down there, and instead of buying, you know, the Dr. Pepper and like a Slim Jim, I bought two Pokemon packs. It was over $2.50 for the base set pack.
Wow.
Yeah, and bought those, opened them up, and I was completely addicted. And the next thing you know, Saturday morning the cartoon show came on, and it's like, all right, well, there's a purpose behind this. I'm following along. It's crazy because I never played the actual card game. It
Okay.
was always about this catching them all, going to like with that actual catchphrase that they came up with, and that's what it was about for me. I wanted to catch them all. I wanted to collect them all. I mean, we used to do some funny, ridiculous deals as we were kids, and just trying to acquire Pokemon cards. So, I mean, that's really where it started. Right from the beginning, 1999 at a 7-Eleven in Phoenix, Arizona.
Do you remember what you pulled from those packs by any chance?
Uh, it wasn't. They were just like basic non-hollow. I think I got like an Electabuzz
Okay.
and I want to say I know one was Electabuzz because I felt like I pulled that all the time, and then I couldn't remember exactly what the other one was
Okay.
right off the top of my head.
Now, did you play the? This is one question I ask everybody. Did you play the Game Boy game beforehand? Is that how you knew, like, were introduced to
Yeah.
Pokemon? Were you
So,
a red or blue?
oh, 100% red.
Okay.
100% red, and then I got yellow. I actually never owned blue, and like, so we grew up pretty rough. So like, we didn't have like I know you needed a cable and stuff later on in the other games like Trade Pokemon and whatnot. But like I like all my friends like we would huddle up and play, or we would take the Super Game Boy
Hmm.
for the Super Nintendo and like put it on a big screen and just like that would be our night,
Oh
right?
wow.
Well,
I never
just
thought about
playing
doing
that.
that. I know we always we had our sleepovers. We get everybody to play the game, and I don't know whatever competition we would do, try to level up someone quick or first one to beat this or. But we never threw it up on the TV like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so like when that Super Game Boy came out, because we all couldn't like we couldn't afford it, and it's like I got real lucky getting Pokemons, like, but my neighbors who were my close friends at the time, they couldn't, so we would just do like sleepovers at my house. We used to speed run like N64, Ocarina of Time, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
We stayed up for like a full day straight beating that game, but some of us had the Super Nintendo, and then one of my other buddies had the Super Game Boy. So collectively, one guy brought their Super Nintendo over, one guy got the Super Game Boy. I had the Pokemon, so obviously I got to play it.
Right.
So they all just huddled up, and we would take turns. We would write down like the Pokemon we would catch, and like all that other jazz, like what badges and whatnot. And at the time, there was no real internet. I mean, there was internet, but it wasn't like what it is today. So you couldn't really find out where to, you know, like a playthrough or a walkthrough. It was literally just going through it yourself.
Right, right. We just went at it. We had no idea what strategy was. We didn't know that some Pokemon were stronger, faster,
Oh
had
yeah,
better defense, special moves, doing all that. We didn't understand that. We were just having fun. That's all it was
yeah,
about.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, not until later with Silver and Gold I started to get a hang of some strategy on my end, but still was just out there having fun,
Yeah.
going through it blindly. Um, did you have any brothers or sisters growing up doing this as well with you?
No, I was like a single. My mom was a single parent. I didn't have any other siblings, so at times, it was interesting growing up.
Yeah.
But luckily, I was able to have people around me that enjoyed the same hobbies as I did. So we were, it took a little stress off of it.
That's great. I mean, no matter what type of cloth you're brought up from, we all have these very similar story with Pokemon. That's why I enjoy doing this right now and talking with people from even overseas. Like last week, I had a guy from England, and it's just we have the same stories and we can connect. It's really amazing to have that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The game of Pokemon has brought in everybody together so much. It just really allowed you know that friendship to develop over like something that was commonly known as like no matter where you're from. So like I since I lived in Arizona, I had a lot of people come up from Mexico and so forth, and they would bring Spanish packs and we would open them up, and then just like the love of Pokemon is what it was all about.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. So, dive in more into the card game. Did you continue on after base set to collect, jungle, fossil, and so on?
Yeah, so that's where it got kind of cloudy for me. I remembered collecting Fossil, um, Jungle, and Team Rocket.
Hmm.
After that, times got times got really tough for us,
Okay.
and Pokemon is just something that we weren't able to do at the time. So it went back on the back burner. But the crappy thing was at the time I accumulated so much cards, so many cards, and I had a ton of Japanese cards as well. And at the time, I really didn't know. Like everybody knew that the Charizard was the man.
Hmm.
Like that was the card to have no matter what. And I never owned a Charizard personally until later in adulthood, but I had so many cards at the time and they were mint, right? I never played the game, I just collected. So I ended up trading them away for like a PlayStation 2 or something like that.
Okay. Well, that's a great
And it
console. I mean, at the time, that's
Oh yeah.
a great trade.
Right.
At the
Yeah, the turn of the century, just trading it away, getting a PlayStation 2, and it was on fire. We didn't really have the money, so I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
this kid's a dumbass, and he didn't know where it lived, and so like I was like, all right, I'm gonna make this deal now before his parents come out here and yell. So I was able to get a PS2, and I disappeared. I was gone.
Wow, that was definitely one of my favorite consoles. I actually won one of those in like one of those Burger King scratch off contests. And it was during the Spider-Man 2 movie. So I got the PS2 and the Spider-Man 2 video
Oh,
game, which was probably my favorite game of all time, just swinging through New York City. But
dude, I'm right there with you. That
but
game was amazing.
yeah, but people actually win those things, and I am proof of that. So that was
Dude, that's crazy. I
that's
actually
awesome.
never met anybody that actually won anything like that before.
And I still go back and try to win the Monopoly McDonald's stuff, but it hasn't happened yet. So one day. All right, so you got up to Team Rocket. Yeah, I mean that I remember the gym series briefly from the card standpoint. I continued into Gen 2 with the video games, but the cards kind of just died out for me because me and my brothers moved on to uh, Magic the Gathering or Dragon Ball Z or whatever the next step was at the time. I mean, was that something that you might have done? I mean, I know you said you went through a little tougher time, um, or did you focus on sports? I mean, that was a big thing for me was sports took over and friends and girls and
Yeah. Uh, I was, yeah, relatively the same thing. I mean, after school programs with, having a single mom were like the thing for us.
hmm
Well, for me and, my neighbors, they were relatively, type of the same cloth type of deal where they live with, their single parent and whatnot. So I was, believe it or not, I played basketball,
Oh yeah, me too.
all through high school, senior, or varsity, junior year. It was fun, and obviously I wasn't like the greatest, but that kept me occupied through
hmm
all through high school and whatnot, and allowed a lot of the outside problems of the world to really go away for a time being because it was all about that. And
hmm
that's what I kind of lost myself in. We had a great coach at the time. He was very, he was a player's coach. He was there to help us out, and he truly cared about us and whatnot. But there was there was a time he got so mad at us that he punched like this, like the little, I guess it's like a cock board that's
Yeah.
you could put pens in it
hmm
and whatnot, and he punched that at like a weight gym and broke his hand because it was a concrete wall behind it and it
Oh
wasn't very
my.
padded. And he's yelling at us at halftime, throwing chairs, and he goes to punch the wall and he turns, I think I just broke my hand.
That
That's
calmed him
like
down
one of
real
the
quick.
only. It
That's
was
awesome.
great.
I actually got a similar story to that. We used to have our like half times in there was one school I forget it was, but we had our halftime in like a classroom, and our coach was furious. Sitting in the front, and he slammed my desk. Those typical high school desks that are the chairs attached to the table,
Yeah, it's
and
just a
he
table.
slammed the corner of the thing, and it just snapped off. He broke the corner, and the thing came off. And I actually took it with me. I kept it, and I gave it back to him at the end of the year at our banquet. Had the team sign it, and we gave it to
Oh
him.
no,
So that was
that's hilarious.
that was great. But
That's great.
let's get back to Pokemon.
Sure,
I
sure,
could
sure.
talk about basketball all the time. But so what brought you back into Pokemon? I mean, we all know you from YouTube right now. You're
Yeah.
doing a lot with this. But what brought you back into Pokemon first? Or did you start with YouTube?
So I mean, I've always tried to get into YouTube. I do marketing as my primary job on the outside, and
hmm
YouTube's like one of the only platforms, from whether it be like understanding Google, social media marketing, traditional marketing. YouTube was just that dynamic that I could never figure out. And then I told myself, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. And I'll be real with you, for like the first like 2 or 3 years, I was posting content and nothing was happening for me. I
hmm
would I would read and read and try to figure out exactly, you know, what it takes for YouTube. And at the time, YouTube was just changing their algorithm like crazy. So I'm like, all right, this is just going to go nowhere. So, make a long story short, I finally was like at the point of like giving up, and I'm like, you know what, like I'm just gonna go for a drive. And I decided to go for a drive, and I went to Target and I went to the card section, and I saw a Unbroken Bonds Elite Trainer box.
hmm
It was the very first Pokemon thing that ever got me going. Get back into it. I opened it up. I didn't get nothing. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. And then I started like doing my research, and I heard about evolutions,
Okay.
and I was like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna get an evolutions pack because I saw like I want to say like a little collector's thing with a jumbo card, and they had an evolutions pack in there.
hmm
So I got that, and I was able to pull a Charizard out of it right off the
Ooh.
bat, and that just jump started it.
Oh
And I
yeah.
was like, okay, I can actually do this and open it up, and during this entire like week span, because I just saw Detective Pikachu, it got my blood going. Like, wow, I miss Pokemon. It brought me so much joy as a kid. And then like I got online, and the first person I saw was Leanhard, and he was opening up packs and all that jazz. I was like, okay, what if I do this? Because at the time, like I didn't see like it's very hard to get indexed into YouTube, and I didn't run into a lot of the small YouTubers that I know now
Hmm.
until quite some time after. So like I just thought there was like Lean Heart and Unlisted Leaf, and then Real Breaking Nate. I think, yeah, Real Breaking Nate,
Yeah, I had
and
him on.
there's
He's a good guy.
a really good guy, and I talked to him a little bit through Instagram. But those, I watch some of their videos. I'm like, I can do this. And if you, there's some of my older videos are just terrible, but I applied the same SEO and stuff like that that I already know, metadata,
Hmm.
writing out my content. Like if you look at like a lot of my descriptions of my YouTube channel, I at least hit 1,000 characters. I really try to go through all of it and really put some like detail into it, talk a little bit about it, and then put correct links that like not are just random.
Hmm.
So I try to add like not keyword stuff, but actually add words about what we're opening and whatnot.
Meaningful.
And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, I lost.
Going and
Oh,
going and going.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's I think that's something that a lot of us did when we got back into it. I know I found Pokemon again through YouTube openings, same as you did. But I was watching Gem Mint Pokemon. I was watching. I think there's a guy named like Ahsoka. There was some. It was a little bit a couple of years before you. And obviously, and Evolutions was what got me back into it as well. But I knew about that right away, thankfully. And yeah, I did the same. I bought a ton of it and just opened it with my brothers, and it got hooked as soon as I got that Charizard, man. And it's
Dude,
nothing like it. Nothing
it
like it.
brought back it brought back so many memories that set, just because the way the cars were designed, and they were literally identical to the base set. And just like I just remember it brought back those memories of playing the game, you
Hmm.
know, hanging out with your friends, just something that I was missing at that time in my life. And I really appreciate my community.
Hmm.
I got like the people that I've added to like the Discord and stuff. We've grown. We're at like 400, over 400 people in the Discord now,
Bellsprout
and
Brigade.
the Bellsprout Brigade, King Bellsprout, and like no joke. And I got some great mods. I think a few of them watching Noah Bazooka. Those guys are great, and it's just really pooling, getting everybody together and really growing. And it's just like that friendship and camaraderie, no matter where you're at in the world and everything else.
Hmm.
It's just been awesome. It's really, really, it really brought something that I've been missing in my life personally, like that just
Yeah,
friendship type of deal.
yeah, and that I think that's a big thing for all of us. I mean, talking to a lot of the, I guess Pokemon influencers now. I mean, I'm humbled to be, tied into the conversation with guys like SM Pratt and Pokemon Revolution Cars and Cool Trainer Ryan and these guys. And, I think we all had similar situations where we were at a point in our life where we were missing that. Of course, nostalgia is a very powerful thing, but we're missing that normal everyday hang out with friends and whoever it was, because we just got out of college and we're hit with real life, and it's just
Yeah,
it sucks. and
dude.
and we
Yeah,
find these packs that just bring back incredible memories, and now they're creating even better memories now. um, like you said, I've got a few people on Instagram that reach out to me occasionally, and they've been there since day one, and I just talking with them about Pokemon. It's there's no better feeling than creating those relationships.
yeah. Like it's crazy because like I feel like Pokemon, like the explosion of Pokemon over the past couple months, has really brought out, you know, individuals my age, late 20s, early 30s, now have the money and the means to buy it, and we're going nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, we're absolutely going nuts getting this stuff and whatnot. I have a feeling it's good and bad. Obviously, we're driving up
Oh.
prices, but at the same time, man, I people don't understand. I get so many comments like saying like, "I can't believe you're opening." I'm like, guys, I don't know if you understand like the excitement I get opening these packs up and potentially pulling.
it's
something
it's
epic.
priceless. And just as you said that, you open up a Charizard, and I'm watching on a video. Perfect timing. Yeah, there is no better feeling. That's amazing how well that timed up. But yeah, I mean, I when I got in, yeah, I was doing the same thing, opening up a ton of stuff, and I've kept track of it all and the prices that it was at, and yeah, I've wasted a ton of money on it, but man, it is worth every single penny.
Yeah,
But
it's awesome.
yeah, and honestly, when I first saw you come in to the scene on YouTube, and I saw you dropping, I mean, the stuff you were opening was, I was like, this guy is gonna burn out in a month. He's done for. But I'm happy to see you're still going, and I know it's extremely expensive, and and
Oh, dude,
it's tough to manage that, but. Yeah, I love your content. It's great.
I
It's
appreciate it.
as cringy as your stuff it can be, and Leonhardt and everybody. I mean, it's good for the
It's real though.
community. It's great. It's
Yeah.
I'm good friends with them now, and it's I I can't watch it all the way through. Sometimes it's hard to watch for me, but
No,
it's
I get
still
it.
great. It's still great.
It, it's not for everybody, and I appreciate it. And to be, I opened up some cards with Leonhard and
Hmm.
stuff like that recently, and it's hard for me to watch a lot of other people as well. I try to be, it's hard because a lot of times with card opening channels, I feel like if you're very dull,
Oh yeah.
you'll lose everybody. I think the best thing about what I do and how we're opening up packs is I have Andrew next to me, and with Andrew's personality, and he like washes me out a little bit
Yeah.
because he's very reserved, very quiet, and I bring the excitement out of him a little bit, but he also helps me contain myself at
Hmm.
times because I was watching somebody's video, I forgot who it was the other day, and there was a comment this that was talking about like fake hype and over exaggerating and making things crazy, and they mentioned my name and said that they they hated me because they said all my reactions are fake.
Hmm.
Oh man, and that broke me. I was so upset. I'm like, like my thing is like it's definitely not fake,
No.
and like I want to be I'm just a very loud, outgoing person,
Hmm.
and I just really love to show my emotions. But the problem is, a lot of people, and what I notice, they they don't want that all the time, and I don't really have an off switch, so it's very hard to me to like turn it off and on in the sense of like I'm just going to be me and roll with it.
Yeah.
And now I have Andrew with me who can offset my tone at times and really calm me down because when he doesn't react the way I do, it really mellows it back out and it doesn't look like it's too ridiculous.
It's a great balance, but the other thing, man, like it's honestly it's just the haters. I mean, when when we first, I'm part of we're part of a big Pokemon community that takes this seriously, invests a lot of money, and does this as a business. People just hate on Unlisted Leaf. They hate on Leonhardt. They hate on these guys, but
Yeah.
their job is opening Pokemon cards, and all those people that are spreading that hate, talking about that, they're just jealous. You know, I mean, I'm fully honest and upfront with you guys. It's cringy as hell, but
Sure. At times, absolutely.
I love it though. It's something that I did some pack openings myself. I have them all on Instagram and a couple on YouTube, but you guys are doing something that these people want to do, and
Yeah.
they don't. They're too, I don't know what it is within them to come face that fact, but I mean, keep doing you, man. I mean,
Appreciate it.
enjoy every moment of opening those cards because it's special and it's not gonna last forever.
Yeah, and you're right. It's not going to last forever. I mean, we're going to continue to try and open up vintage pack as much as we can, and that's another beautiful thing about you know having friends that live close to you that have the same interest because I don't share. I don't put out the entire front of the packs like it costs of money.
Hmm.
Andrew invests as well, and we have one more of our buddies that he doesn't really want to be in the spotlight at all, but he collects Pokemons. He was there. He collects Pokemon. He was there. I want to say a few months ago when we were doing like the live openings with the Sky Ridge packs and so
Oh,
forth.
yep, heard him in the
But
background. Yep.
yeah, he's there, and he purchases a lot of packs because he likes to collect. And they allow me to open up a lot of their stuff. Plus, I open up a lot of my own, and
Hmm.
that's one way we're able to keep all this content coming, and one after another. And you're right. It doesn't. It's not going to last forever. But I think 2020 we're gonna have enough for
Yeah,
quite some time.
that's good. I mean, you're also doing a lot of good things. I mean, you're doing some charities. I saw that in November you did a pretty big thing for. Remind me.
So I did. We've done two things. We did a huge, like, we did a Switch giveaway to a family,
Hmm.
and we were able to get a mom and her kids a Nintendo Switch. Well, she won it at random, which was great. And then we did the Children's Hospital, which was probably our biggest thing so far here in Atlanta. And we were able to get so much. And there was a lot of, that smaller YouTube community that loves opening up Pokemon cards and so forth. There was a channel, NC Packbusters.
Hmm.
Without them, I wouldn't got half of what I had.
Oh
They
wow.
really took it on themselves to really raise money through their channel, and they invested like a lot of money to help get product for the kids. And come to find out, the husband, it was a husband and a wife duo, and the husband and I went to the same college,
Oh wow.
University of Arizona. Bear down all day every day. So talking about basketball, we could go have a conversation about the Pac-12. All right.
Aaron Gordon.
Oh,
I
dude.
got I went to Michigan State. I actually played for Izzo for a semester, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, he cut
That's
me.
awesome. Oh shit. Dude, he was rumored to be our coach at one point.
Was he really?
Yeah, before we got Sean Miller, like, he was like, they were like, all right, Izzo wants out of state. Things are not going well with all the sanctions coming down around him. He could be linked to some sanctions, and it might be best for him to leave. Yada yada yada. And come to
Uh,
find out, Sean Miller's all part of the same damn sanctions as well.
well, I've got a personal bias against Izzo, so take him.
So he's a great coach, though.
He's phenomenal. Yeah, Hall of Famer, absolutely. Well, if you don't mind me asking, I want to talk a little bit about the business of
Yep,
YouTube because obviously,
sure.
this isn't just a all 100% for fun thing. You're trying to grow a brand. You're trying to grow
Yep,
a side business. I know with YouTube, I think you need what like 1,000 subscribers to start earning ad revenue and all that.
yep,
Um, where are you at now? Are you seeing any sort of return on your videos? Is it? I mean, obviously you're opening up,
sure.
$1,000 worth of packs with your Sky Ridges or whatnot. But how is that working out for you so far?
So far, so good. It's very interesting. Obviously, we had primetime Pokemon step out of the game
Hmm.
very recently, and he mentioned that he didn't think, he was seeing the money, the return in his videos and so forth that he was expecting. You see a lot of the other people out there that made videos recently talking about, this is how much I make from Pokemon cards, from eBay to the YouTube channel, and so forth. But a lot of those individuals, I feel, they didn't understand the platform the way it moves, because
Hmm.
the numbers they were spouting, a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm seeing the exact opposite. For being the small channel as I am, I'm not pulling in ton of cash, but this past month is going to be our best month that we've ever had when it comes to revenue back into our pockets, which it doesn't cover anything that we've opened by any means,
Right.
but
It
it's
helps.
it's more than a couple $100, right? It's more than that. So, which is really nice. I think from the business side, is what a lot of people need to do early on is they need to understand, okay, how am I going to optimize my YouTube channel to get the most watch minutes and
Hmm.
interactions?
Hmm.
I see a lot of these individuals, they don't respond to comments, they don't interact with their audience, they don't manually place their advertisements on their videos, they don't they're not making sure their videos are at least 10 minutes long. They don't do the small basics YouTube tells you in the back end to fully optimize yourself for ad revenue. And when I started doing that, and actually understanding it, I literally doubled what I was making from the prior month.
Oh wow! And I'm not going to expose you, but I know we talked a while back about one thing in a video you said, and and you told me, yeah, it's just to get people talking, to get people involved and engaged, like you said. And I was like,
Yeah,
that makes so much sense. And like it's yeah, that's you've got that background, like you said, in marketing to understand these
yeah.
type of platforms and how they work. So that's really good.
And by all means, I've told a couple people this, and some people are like, "Oh no, we don't believe you and whatnot." But there are sometimes, and I'll expose myself. There are sometimes I say some things in videos just because I know it's going to get a rise and have
Hmm.
a conversation.
Hmm.
And I tell Andrew, and I I tell him all the time. I'm like, "Look, when we're recording, feel free to you know argue with me a little bit. Feel free to question some things. Feel free to like poke fun and whatnot. You're
Hmm.
not going to harm me, but it'll show people our true friendship. Don't be shy behind the camera. Just think that no one's in front of us right now, which there isn't, right? We're doing this with no music, no
Hmm.
nothing. The lights are on, and I'm in my living room. And I'm like, as long as you think about it that way, your true personality and like the interactions you have will come out. And then, of course, all right. So I actually open up your stream, and right now, as I'm talking, this particular piece comes up. This was 100% real,
Hmm.
100% real. But it's the willingness to take turn or to take risk and create that conversational piece and not be the same old plan type of content out there, because there's a lot of people that open up Pokemon cards that I'm a very honest person that should not be opening up Pokemon cards to try to make it
Hmm.
if they want to continue to go down that path, because they continue to do the same things and it's just not working for
Hmm. But yeah, I mean, you guys definitely have, like you said, you've got a good balance of personality, and I mean, you touched on primetime Pokemon. I mean, he's the OG of this. Like, he got a lot of us started with Pokemon again, and yeah, it's sad to see him go, but unfortunately, he didn't have the personality for it. As we moved into this newer era of Poketubers, with the entertainment aspect of things. He's a great educational, great informative channel, but there wasn't much behind it to like you said, engage the viewers. Um,
it. One quick thing about that particular scenario, he mentions in his video when he goes off, or when he started seeing a decline. It was around 2017,
oh.
and he saw the ratings drop, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So that told me that he looks at his data.
Hmm.
I'm sure you look at Social Blade, right?
Yeah.
You pull up, and this is nothing against anybody, right?
Right.
But this
Right.
just shows you the type of content that came around. You open up right around when a lot of the big time YouTubers started taking off, was right around 2017.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest Google search engine updates for YouTube, because they acquired them. I think they acquired them. When did they acquire? It was roughly around that time.
Hmm.
But anyway, so right when they did that, you go to Social Blade, you look at the stat lines of these other YouTubers, they started catching a lot of popularity around 2017.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I think since Primetime Pokemon didn't adapt and change things up, maybe it might have been his personality, like you were alluding to, and I think you're right, and a couple other things, but he didn't really adapt with anything else,
Hmm.
that those those other channels just eclipsed him, and YouTube just did not recommend his stuff. They kept pushing
Right.
him down and pushing him down, and
Yeah.
you can see that in the trend line. You go to some of these guys, you pull up three different windows, look at Social Blade, and you just type in primetime Pokemon and any of the big time YouTubers, and you do the full graph, lifetime graph, you'll be able to see
Yeah.
the
Uh,
trend line. It's
I
crazy.
could pull that up. Yeah, but that's it was great to see the support that he got from that video. At least, I mean, he hit over 500,000 views in a week or so, which was leagues above the his previous videos.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe we'll get a nice little uh, check back every now and then from him.
I
Um,
I
but
hope I hope he does, but I hope he goes in and like there's a couple other ways, because I uh I recently got in a conversation with. So right there. So I think you have it up right
Where
now.
is it? Yeah.
So see that trend line. So
Yeah.
go back to the very top, May 17th,
Oh, yeah.
2007,
Yeah.
and then it drops. Now, if you open up a new tab and open up anybody, and
I'll
just go around that same date,
I'll
it's
do
gonna.
David Dobrik. Let's see if this changes.
Oh, I mean that makes a difference.
Yeah, but well, it could be the same trend, right?
This guy though, he's
Yeah.
a completely other.
Yeah, same trend though. I mean, he went the opposite way. Right,
Yeah.
right
So
here.
right around 2017 is when Google really inserted themselves into the YouTube space, and a lot of times the original YouTubers, which Primetime Pokemon would probably be the OG of the Pokemon YouTube scene, that's when he started taking a drop, and those original YouTubers have stopped.
Yeah.
I mean, Leonhardt takes off here pretty soon, but his
Oh
was up and
wow.
down, and then he really took off.
Yeah.
And that goes like if anybody wants to make this like their business, they have to understand one, it's all about consistency, and two, it's all about understanding the platform that you're on. If you're not willing to put in the time and the effort to understand the platform and what all it takes to go in, and you're just making videos to make videos, you're not going to succeed.
Right. Yeah, you can't
The
just be
coolest
complacent and lax with all that stuff. It's like you said, the algorithm's constantly changing. You got to change with it.
Yeah. The coolest thing I've ever seen was when I went to go do videos with Leonhardt. The man is a machine. He is he's so savvy. His understanding of YouTube and how things work. He doesn't give a dang what anybody says about his
Hmm.
stuff. He gets it. But the way he approaches how he does things is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. His work ethic is ridiculous.
Yeah, I met him at Worlds in DC, and yeah, I told him straight to his face too. Your stuff is cringy, but he's killing it. He's loving it. He's a very smart guy. He was a lawyer
Oh,
before
yeah.
he started doing this, and he's definitely putting in that work, and it shows. And I cannot
You,
wait for him to hit 1 million subs and open up that heavy first edition base set
oh,
pack,
dude.
dude. I'm very
You
excited
want
for
to
that.
you want to hear an embarrassing story about that?
I do.
About my meeting him? So I get to the place obviously, and I see him, and we're like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And we're doing our thing, and filming goes great. Obviously, I was a little nervous because it's Leonhardt, right? He's
Hmm.
he's huge in the Pokemon world, and we finish up, we wrap up, everything was great. I go to leave, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, "All right, I'll see you later." La la la. My rental, right, is a base model. I didn't get anything special.
Hmm.
I go ahead and I put my stuff in the trunk, and I accidentally had my keys to the rental,
Oh.
and I closed the trunk.
Oh.
So my keys. Okay, this is 2019. You would think that this car would recognize like I drive a Lexus at home. If
Hmm.
I accidentally lock my keys in the car, my car won't lock. It'll
Okay.
make sure that you can get the keys, right?
Yeah.
But this car, the doors were locked. We couldn't do anything. I couldn't. Once the trunk was locked, there was nothing we could do. The trunk locked itself, so I had to get someone to come out. But this car was so basic that once they jimmied and popped the trunk open or popped the doors open, the car went off, the car alarm,
Yeah.
and I there was no strap to pull down the seats. I couldn't pop the trunk because the car alarm was going off because of the safety features. So the car was locked. My keys were in the trunk, and I have a flight in 3 hours.
Oh man.
I had to get towed in
Oh.
front of Leonhardt all the way to the airport. And guess what? These fools popped open the door, put like a little wrench inside the door, turned 3 times, unlocked everything. I'm like, you got to be
Oh
freaking
my
kidding me.
god.
But this is like the most embarrassing thing in my entire life. We joke about it now sometimes. It's like, hey, make sure you have your keys. I'm like, hey, thanks, bud.
That's funny. I'm actually gonna see him this weekend. I'm headed to Dallas tomorrow morning for the regionals.
Bring it up if you want, but
Yeah,
it's funny.
definitely
It's
will.
funny.
Definitely will. I know he'll be a busy guy, but hopefully I'll get to
Yeah.
say what's up to him. That's awesome. So what? Now that you're, I mean, I see you started to move a little bit into what I think of the newer era of Pokemon cards, the EX series, after Wizards of the Coast, the Nintendo series packs.
Yeah.
Um, what's your main, I guess, love with Pokemon? What are you collecting? What are you is it changing now, or is there still kind of something you always have your eye on?
WotC stuff is my favorite. I'm trying to collect every single set. If it's the first sets that ever came out, base set, well, mostly Jungle, Fossil, Gym Challenge, Gym Heroes, and Team Rocket. I'm trying to get all first editions of those.
Hmm.
First editions of the Neos. Not a huge fan of the Unlimited. I really just want the first editions.
Okay.
Uh, the reason why we're moving to the EX1, obviously we pulled the Gold Star Rayquaza, so that started the whole Gold Star trend for us. We're like, oh crap, we got to do this, and which is great. But dude, the prices of the Wizard of the Coast stuff, I think it's a little inflated for some of it. Obviously, like the first edition base set,
Mm.
that stuff is always valuable, right?
Yeah.
I think you have a couple packs, and even you and I were discussing at one point. I mean, that's always going to go up.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, like with like the Team Rocket stuff and like the Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge, the pricing is a little bit out of whack at the moment. I think of some people that have product are overvaluing it right now.
Hmm.
So it just put extra effort into, okay, let's go after gold stars is the perfect time for us and see where the market goes in a couple months and potentially go back.
How did that rate? Did you get that graded? Right? Has it come back yet?
Yeah, yeah. It got a 9.
I got a 9. Okay. I mean, did you? I don't know if have you shown that yet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was in a video
Okay.
not too long ago. But it did get a 9. It sucked a little bit, but
Possible regrade, or did they
we're
any of the corners nicked or?
I think it's based off of centering.
Okay.
When you look at it in the video when we show it off, the graded card piece, it does look like in the video it is off centered, but I think that's the shadowing and the way the lighting is. I don't think it's that bad off centered. It is slightly
Hmm.
off centered on the back. I think the front is flawless. I think you just pause it now on
Yeah, the front looks
YouTube,
pretty good.
and then the
It's an odd card to look at because the Pokemon's on the left side of it, so like just to me it looks thinner over here, but no, it's
yeah,
very close.
yeah.
Did you show the back?
I think I should have bet. So it's funny that a lot of people call this out. There's like, how did this thing get a sleeve already? And I'm like, dude, I stopped everything and put a sleeve on that before I
Oh,
did anything else.
yeah, that's an instant sleeve right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but it's kind of hard to see from there. But people say it's slightly off centered, which by all means that could be it. But I'm looking at my PSA card collection. Like I got a drawer full of PSA cards,
Yeah.
and I got tens in here, my man, that they are so off centered to the naked eye that I still got tens.
Yeah. It's unbelievable well, I'm curious to see what happens with the older cert numbers because I've never been a big PSA collector. I just buy and sell those things. But
Yeah.
yeah, the older certs are just unbelievably they're just graded at such a lower level than what they
Quality.
are today. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've been getting shit on by PSA lately. I think they actually
Shoot.
took one of my submissions and just like chucked it at a wall and then decided to grade it because they came back with this with damage. It was just terrible, and they were actually for customers of mine. So it just was a bad experience all around, and I just need to take a
Uh,
break from those guys. Um, but
uh, so I don't know if you know about our Schmeagle card,
oh yeah, yeah.
but they bent that bad boy, and they finally admitted to it. They had documentation. What I don't get is, and what I question them is, they said it was a failure on our end. At one of the steps of grading, I'm like, okay, if that's the case, then why on earth did you continue to grade it and send it off like it was going to be okay?
Mm-hmm.
You had all the information. Why didn't you just call us?
Just own up to it. Yeah. Just
Yeah, like you make us go through all these hoops and everything, and then oh, here it comes.
yeah.
Here comes the reaction.
We got. I again meeting Leonhardt, like yes, I see how this can be real for him, but it's still so hard to convince myself that it is. He loves this stuff more than anyone I know. So it's his reactions are amazing to watch.
So you've actually met him and you talked to him.
Yeah.
I feel he is the same exact person in his videos. It's
Yeah.
just magnified.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just magnified in the videos. He has no filter in his videos.
He's an entertainer, dude. I mean, that's what he
Dude,
does.
I love it.
He's great. Yeah. And he's jacked. You got to get on. I know you're doing
Dude,
you've been doing what, like a 30-day weight thing
40
or
Actually, ironically, there's a guy in chat that I'm doing it with in your chat right now.
who's that?
Expo Gamer.
Expo
He said
Gamer.
regrade the Ray. He is the guy that I'm doing the 45-day challenge with. And we're going at it. He's been sick. I'm destroying you so far. Like, calm down. You can barely lift like 5 pounds, bro. Relax. So we're going back and forth. Week 1, I lost 8 pounds. I think he lost 5. But he's been sick, so he hasn't been eating. So he got a bunch of weight put
Oh,
off because of that. But
taking the easy way out.
yeah, right. So it's all right. We still got, I think, 4 more weigh-ins. This is not over yet. So yeah, we're getting into it. But Leanheart he is a fitness guy,
Hmm.
and it's funny because his chair that he's sitting in that video. If you go to his video, obviously you don't have to do it, but in the future, go to his videos and take a look. And I'm sitting in this chair, and I swear I look like I'm 6'8", 400 pounds, just a monster sitting next to him in this up. And man, it's just when I saw that, I'm like, dude, I'm a big boy. I gotta get this changed, man. I gotta get back in the gym.
Well, he's actually a little shorter than people think, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I mean, he was on Ninja Warrior and doing all that stuff, so he's constantly out there putting in work. So
Dude, I asked him, I'm like, hey, okay, you're looking for this rainbow rare Charizard. You go to Ninja Warrior, open up a pack live before you start jumping. What if you pulled the Charizard? What would you have done? Where would you put that card? You're not going to put it in your pocket and potentially fall in the water.
that would have been fun. It would have been interesting to see that.
Dude, that could have been such the worst moment of his life. Like the greatness of like being on Ninja Warrior and then all of a sudden pulling one of, like the rarest cards at the time, and it was like, oh crap, what do I do?
Maybe you would have hyped him up, and he would have went Super Saiyan and just like ran through that whole thing and beat the records.
That would have been great.
So what's next for you on YouTube here? I mean, you said you got a pretty solid year coming up with 2020. You got any big things coming up?
Yeah, there's a couple other. I'm all about collabing with people,
Hmm.
getting to know the community, kind of like obviously not in a podcast standpoint, but kind of what you're doing here. You're getting to know other collectors out there. I kind of want to experience how they do stuff, so I'm kind of doing like a little tour. I started with TCA Gaming,
Hmm.
then to Leanheart. I got so lucky. Leanheart was awesome. We were able to have a real conversation, and that we made that happen. I'm trying to potentially see Rhyme Style in the future.
Oh wow,
Uh, I'm trying to go to London for Worlds this year, which we are going to make happen.
good. I'll see
There's
you
a
there hopefully.
couple. Oh, that'd be great, dude.
Yeah.
Imagine doing something like this live there, right?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And I got TCA again. I'm actually going to go see him. I'm going to pick up a few items
Hmm.
pretty soon. But I'm investing in myself. I guess is a good way to put it. And
Yeah.
what I mean by that is like putting it back into like Pokemon as well, like money wise, like real investing.
Hmm.
So I'm hopefully going to go on a shopping spree sometime soon and get even more product.
Oh, great. That's awesome. I
So
mean, yeah, that was the biggest thing for me that kind of solidified my brand. I mean, I'm not out trying to really grow something. I'm just doing this for fun.
yeah,
But I mean, it helps with sales and whatnot. But that was the biggest thing for me was relationship building and investing in opportunities because I ran across a phenomenal opportunity to buy cases of boxes and I did not have the money for it. So
mm,
I hit up some of the bigger names that I had done business with before, PokeRev and um, Swolpoke and some other guys, and pooled in money to make this deal happen. And I got them great deals on things. Yeah, I missed out on the opportunity to make money on my, for myself, but
Right.
I wasn't able to. So I was able to turn that, flip that, and build relationships off of it. And that was probably much more valuable than the whatever the amount was that I could have made overnight if I flipped stuff. So that's one of the biggest things in this hobby, and especially in the YouTube world, is collabing and building relationships with the right people, surrounding yourself with the right people. Um, but
That right there is 100% true.
hmm
Like 100% true. People don't realize that if, like, yes, you lost an opportunity, but you gain so much more knowledge
hmm
by getting involved, understanding what is like actually going on, and really helping your fellow, people around you out, because in the long run, that's just going to benefit you. That's
yeah,
just going to come back to you. And I'm doing the same thing. What that ideally, I feel like I'm doing the same thing. That's kind of what I'm doing now.
good. What are you investing in? I mean, do you? We see you just open up a ton of packs. Are you investing in PSA cards, a sealed product? What's
Yeah,
something you're looking out for?
I'll speak for Andrew too, because he's got a nice little collection going. He's got a good seal product collection going. I got a good PSA collection going.
hmm
I'm about to get my hands on a lot of sealed product. I'm gonna start stashing some stuff as we continue to go down the path. Um, it's really whatever comes my way. It's funny because I had never really watched any real Breaking Nate stuff,
hmm
but I've been listening to the little podcast that they got going on,
Right, Shadowless
and
podcast. Yeah.
yeah, sorry not to promote
Oh no,
anybody
no,
else.
no. He's a friend of mine. It's. I hope to be. I think I'll be on his some point. But yeah, it's
That'd be really cool.
good to promote each other.
And he collects all these wacky stuff, and I hit him up the other day. I'm like, hey, I just pulled a I found for $5 sealed Valentine's Day Pokemon Pikachu and Ash stuff from the TV show on Macari for $5. I was like, dude, I'm gonna buy this all day. It's never been open, and like I'm starting to get a little bit of stuff like that. That's probably like the most extreme I'll ever get. I really obviously want to invest in the cards and the sealed product
hmm
as much as possible. I mean, I got a small sealed product collection,
Yeah.
but obviously I everything I have sealed I end up opening.
Right.
But that's going to change a little bit. I think, as we go, as prices continue to go up,
hmm
you do got to be a little bit frugal. You got to be a little bit more strategic about it. But
Right. Right. And yeah, I was the same. Yeah. Again, I was the same way. But I luckily got all that opening out of my system early on, even though it was still expensive then. I
yeah,
was able to get it out of my system, and I built up quite the seal collection, man. And I mean, unfortunately, I've had to part with most of it. Um, and but yeah, seal collection is a very safe investment. I mean, right now it's scarce. It's hard to find some stuff, and I mean,
but
I just sold two base set boxes 2 weeks ago for about 4,000 a piece, and they're not listed cheaper than 5,000 on eBay right now. So
yeah,
I mean, that's two weeks that I missed out on an opportunity to make an extra $1,000.
oh man, it's crazy how these prices have just absolutely skyrocketed in this small amount of time.
Yeah.
It's funny because I joined E4
hmm
a couple months back, and I just wanted to see if I'm curious. Like, does anybody mention our channel and whatnot? And one of the admins in their Discord posted like, "Hey, you want to see a bunch of people blow money?" And it was us opening up the Team Rocket box, and I'm like, "Oh my Lanta!" But
well,
it's just cool to see people's reactions and stuff. Like
yeah, yeah.
I love any type of interaction,
hmm
but it was just cool. Like, all right, E4 I know is hardcore into collecting and understand the value of Pokemon,
hmm
and they were willing to take a look at my video, whether it was a negative or positive, and see that, hey, we think we're blowing money, which technically we were, because that box now is
four
you
thousand
know
dollars.
probably a little bit more than that. First
Yeah.
edition Team Rocket,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
Absolutely crazy.
it's amazing. I mean, I look back at the things I could have had. I mean, obviously it's that's that other that same situation where I couldn't buy all those boxes for myself made
Yeah.
me realize that can't, I'm not rich, I've got a good job, but
Yeah.
I need to have cash available for opportunities like that. So I turned from, everyone always sells stuff, but that's when I really turned from a collector to a businessman, a business.
Yeah.
And I had to start selling stuff, freeing up some capital so I could have cash ready. Because obviously cash is king. That's how it goes
Yep.
in any industry. Um, but like, yeah, just jumping back to what you're talking about with the Real Breaking Nate. Yeah, I talked with him a lot about that when I had him on my podcast of the interesting things he's collecting, and I'm wearing one now. I just got this 2000 Tropical Mega Battle medal,
Dude, that's awesome.
and I don't know how many are out there, but there's only like 40 some of the cards in the PSA registry, and I paid way too much for this, but it's so cool. I love it. And
Dude, don't you hate sometimes when you feel like, man, I paid way too much for this, but I got something that only 50 people in the world have.
right, right. So yeah, hopefully it'll turn into something good. We'll see. You'll probably see it up on eBay in a couple months, but I'm gonna enjoy it while I have it.
Hey, man, I think it's dope. I think you actually posted it on your Instagram, didn't you?
I did. Yep, my most recent
Yeah.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I saw it. I was like, oh, that's actually pretty badass. And you got the card with it too.
Yep. Yep. And that's one of the things that I set a goal for myself in 2020 is to listen to SM Pratt. SM Pratt is obviously one of
Yes.
the founders and pillars of Pokemon card collecting, and he's the guru. So I'm a Patreon member of his, and I watch his stuff, and I just never listened to what he was saying and act on it. So I
Yeah.
decided to finally act on some stuff that he's doing, so I can expand my collection because I've so focused on sealed product, which has been great, but I want to be able to be diversified within Pokemon. It's
Yep. And that's kind of like the same feeling I get. Like, I want to be more than just the cards at this point. Like, I want
mhm,
to own, like, because the Pokemon community has been so generous towards me
mhm,
and so open, and I've absolutely fallen in love. Like, no joke. Like, I see this as more than just a hobby. It's a passion. I love the community. I love the items that are out there, and just I literally go channel to channel. I watch everybody's Pokemon content.
mhm.
Either one, trying to become better than what I am now, and two, just learning the knowledge, like listening to you, SM Pratt, and there's a couple others that I might kind of stop listening to, but SM Pratt, like you were mentioning, stands out above the rest.
Mhm.
That's how I get my knowledge, and it's just like understanding what he's talking about and so forth. I like Pokemon is so much more, and it has so much life left that it's really made its indentation into this earth and what we're doing from a collection standpoint, that it's going to be valuable forever, it
Yeah,
feels like.
yeah. It's common sense at this point to see that we're late 20s, early 30s. We have money now. We're buying stuff that we had as kids because nostalgia is one of the most powerful marketing tools in the world. I mean, it was the same thing with baseball cards. It was the same thing with um, Star Wars collectibles. Everything. They're still making Pokemon today. So the kids that are 5, 6, 7 right now are gonna grow up in 20 years and buy the stuff they wanted as a kid, and then buy the stuff that was original, buy the base set, buy all
Yeah.
that stuff. So it's that's the typical collectible time frame is like a 20, 25 year period, but we're still seeing new stuff being made. So Pokemon has a long future, a good future, aside from any economic downturns. But
You're right.
it's here to stay, and um,
And I hope I wish one thing I wish Pokemon the company would do is I hope they would recognize and understand the secondary market a little bit more, is because if they would embrace that with open arms, because obviously they're not making money from the secondary market, but they were
mhm.
able to invest in the secondary market more, able to just help with that longevity of Pokemon overall,
Yeah,
and really help create more events. I mean, Pokemon Worlds once a year, um, in different parts of the world is great, but if the Pokemon Company would do a little bit, more consistent. conventions, not just for the TCG and playing the TCG, but more of the collector conventions,
Right.
I think they could probably possibly see a better turnout. I mean, I guarantee if you have maybe one or two conferences or maybe one dedicated like con for just Pokemon a year that Pokemon company was able to back here in the United States, I guarantee it would be a destination for a
But
lot of people.
yeah, I think that's gonna sit on the community though to start, and if we're able to build it up to a point and get the backing and get the support from Pokemon, that'll happen. I think that's what happened. San Diego Comic Con. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was started by fans of these things and enthusiasts, and then it started getting backing. So that's something that the community has to do. And we're still in our infancy. It's a 20-25 year old hobby. Um, and there's a long way to go still. We're still not, as mainstream as people think we are. There's so much deeper and further communities we can get into. I mean, you just get little tidbits of Ariana Grande with an Eevee tattoo, Justin Bieber showing off some cards.
Yeah.
If that gets picked up seriously, there's so much more room to grow and get, Nintendo, Pokemon Company involved in these types of events. I think we'll get there. It'll take some time, but we'll get there.
No, I agree 100%. There's so many influential people out there that love the community. I mean, I think at some point it will start to click.
Yeah, and,
100%.
and we see, we're starting to see some, like with Dallas, we got a artist coming in from Japan to do signings, and in Japan, there's a lot of exclusive releases and promos. Um, with the Japan culture, it's extremely, it's still limited with their rules and regulations on how they do things, but that also helps create the secondary collectible market of things. But they need to bring that into the English side, the U.S. side, and
Yeah.
start having some exclusive English releases, some special product that they partner up with whoever. And I hope, it's something that we want to see, we think we'll see, but I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know what they're thinking, what their focus and drive is with with the TCG. But
I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things happening there. At least their entire culture has embraced Pokemon to a whole different other level, like you were mentioning. Like, if we were able to get like a glimpse of that in the United States, I think it would be great. But they
mhm.
just do everything so right over there when it comes to Pokemon.
Yeah, again, it's a big cultural
Well,
thing over there, and uh, yeah.
you talk about a video that got a lot of hate. People hate it when I open up those Neo Destiny blisters.
What happened here?
Hated it, and just because they're Neo Destiny and they're blisters,
Oh, blisters
and
they're whack.
they, they're whack. I love it.
They're
Uh,
great display piece, but I've had so many blisters that just they pop off just from whatever condition in the air or just handling it a little bit.
yeah.
Blisters are, I don't understand it. It's and there's a lot of people resealing blisters out there too, so it's a
Oh, dude.
sketchy area to invest in.
Yeah, and I had my fair share of scandals and scams over the past couple of months. It's crazy because I've only started doing Pokemon YouTube videos for I want to say shoot for probably on like month 6 or 7 now,
Okay.
and I mean we've been scammed. There's at least two videos of us open fake cards, but we've been scammed more than that.
Hmm.
And I mean that's right there. I mean Dragon Frontier packs. You look up how much those cost, and
Yeah.
an art set was scammed. That's almost $400 down the drain
Yeah. It's
of hardworking capital.
painful to watch, and that's where you know um, you see people starting to buy from these well-known sources, TCA Gaming and SM Pratt, and thankfully even myself, that can provide people with real product and honor their product. If anything goes wrong, they'll refund you and handle the situation. I mean, of course, that comes at a premium, especially with
Sure.
big names like TCA Gaming and whatnot. But it's getting to that
And,
point. The bigger this grows, the more scammers will get in here. The more bad people you'll get in the community. So you just got to be careful and know who you're buying from.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. The premium is okay, and if a lot of people get past that idea because they're like, oh, this guy just charges like $15-20 more, whatever it may be. But when you think about it and the hassle and a lot of the scammers that go through, because I think I've gotten lucky. I think there's more scamming going on than what just happened to me.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's more prominent in the industry than a lot of people think,
Hmm.
and that's why you have to go to a trusted source now, and that's why the premiums are somewhat of a good thing. I would think because one, you have the ability to you're buying for someone who's reputable because no one's going to continue to buy a product at a premium from somebody that's not reputable,
Hmm.
right? So they have a good reviews, they're a trustworthy source, it's going to get taken care of, and like you said, it just comes with a premium.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully we can continue to weed out those people and find our place in the world as Pokemon collectors. We still get laughed at, but we're on our way, guys. Watch out.
We're on the way. Load the ships. Let's do this.
Well, we're coming up. We just passed an hour here. I get a little limitation here with Spotify, but yeah, we'll end it off on that note. I think this was a great hour, man. I had a great time talking with you. I'm
Absolutely.
really excited to see where you guys continue to go and where how quickly you're growing. It's I'm always a fan of watching good people get to the right place. So
Appreciate it.
hopefully I'll get to meet you sometime, and whether it's in Worlds in London or sometime before that. But I really appreciate your time today, man.
I thank you so much for having me on, man. I love listening to your content and really what you've been doing. Please continue it. It's something that we need. It's something that a lot of other collectors want to be a part of. I mean, it's great to be a part of. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to hopefully maybe one of these days I can get you come out to Atlanta or something, or I come out to you and we can open up some packs and do a couple
Abs-
videos together.
Absolutely, I love opening packs. That'd be great.
Especially if I buy them off you, right?
That's right. That's right.
Right? I'm
Although
gonna love it.
I am holding for a while now. It's I got to hold on
Deal.
to that stuff. But yeah, we'll definitely set something up, man.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man.
All right, awesome. Take care.
Later, man. Bye.
Peace. All right, guys. Thank you for stopping by. Again, I appreciate the phenomenal support and everyone being in the chat. Thank you for the follows, the subscriptions. Sorry I didn't shout out your names, but I was having a good flow here with Juice. But thank you again to LootBoxTV. Follow him on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, whatever else he's got. Here's in his description. Facebook, he's got everything there. So thank you again for watching, guys, and this will be up on YouTube and Spotify hopefully by tonight, tomorrow, and yeah, have a good one.